All right, so that's what we're buying here on Move the Sticks. How about what we're selling, Buck?
Hey, look, I already know, like, don't hit me up on Twitter. Don't blow me up, all my Carolina fans. Look, I used to work there. I'm a huge supporter of the Carolina Panthers, but I still will go on record right now and say I don't believe that this is the best team in the NFL, despite their 11-0 record. I understand they're undefeated. Cam Newton deserves to be in the conversation for MVP, and part of the reason he deserves to be in the conversation for MVP, I don't think this is the most talented team in the league. I think they're playing well on defense. Their defense is doing a great job of holding people down, keeping the score down, not allowing people to move the ball. That allows their offense, which I still think is talent deprived on the outside, to find a way to score. But I think when you match them up against the top teams that we'll talk about in the Final Four, the Final Five teams, I don't think they'll be favored in any of these games. So as I'm looking at it, Arizona Cardinals, New England Patriots, Denver Broncos, and maybe even the Cincinnati Bengals, if we match those teams up, I think they would be the underdog in most of those contests with the exception of the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think if you examine the rosters, I think each of those teams have more blue players on both sides of the ball than the Panthers. Because of that, I'm buying them as a nice team. I'm just not buying them as the best team in the league.
See, I actually am buying them as the best team, Buck. And I think when you look at those teams you just rattled off, they only have to play two of them because most of those are in the AFC. The only team they're going to have to see in the NFC is the Arizona Cardinals. That's the only debate for me in the NFC is Arizona or Carolina. I think the way Green Bay's kind of fallen off, we like the Vikings, but I still think I'd take the Carolina Panthers in those matchups. So to me, I think they are the best team in the league.
You take them over the Arizona Cardinals?
I would.
What about the Panthers do you like better than the Cardinals?
When I look at the Carolina Panthers, I think defensively what they can do up at their front. Now I love the secondary that Arizona possesses, but I think the front seven of the Carolina Panthers poses more problems, especially with those two linebackers inside. I like the fact that you have a corner as you have in Arizona, Josh Norman, you can match up, try and wipe somebody out as he did with Des Bryant this past week. And then when you go over to the offensive side of the ball, I like when things get muddy and things break down that Cam can help me get out of some trouble. I think if you can pin Carson Palmer in, you can get after him. I think both offensive lines are a little bit sketchy.
Yeah, they both are.
And so when I look at that situation, okay, you got offensive lines that are a little bit suspect. You've got dominant defensive fronts. I want the quarterback can get out of some of that trouble. I think Cam Newton can get out of some of that trouble. Now, skilled players on the outside, I'll give the edge to the Arizona Cardinals. But man, the way this team is rolling right now, the Carolina Panthers, they're not dipping down to play to the level of their opponent. We saw the San Francisco 49ers give the Arizona Cardinals all they wanted the other day. The Carolina Panthers just take care of business, Buck.
They do take care of business, but I will say this, on their schedule, I'm still waiting to see them. Look, I know a couple weeks ago they dispatched the Green Bay Packers. That was a great job. I'm still waiting to see them get into a shootout where they have to snuff out or compete with an elite offense and have to find a way to generate points. I know they went to Seattle and they found a way to win games. But can they score with a team like a Denver Broncos or New England Patriots? Can they deal with the
That's in the Super Bowl. They're going to be there.
That is in the Super Bowl.
The Arizona is the only debate. It's them or Arizona in the NFC, and that you know where that game's going to be played.
The game will be played in Carolina. The thing about the Arizona Cardinals, the Cardinals are balanced. I want to say they're a top 5 team in offense and defense, maybe the only team in the league that is kind of in that vein. Bruce Arians does a great job of scheming and crafting things for them to get big plays. And I know their defense is outstanding in Carolina, but Carson Palmer and the way they're able to get it done, the way they go after people is tough. And then the Cardinals defense, they're going to blitz Cam. And they're going to dare Philly Brown and Ted Ginn and those other guys to get open. And I just don't know if they can get open against that secondary. The Bird Gang, to me, I think the Cardinals are a better team, even though the record suggests that the Panthers are a better team.
Well, one thing, though, there's two things, though. When you're going to blitz Cam Newton, two things. You better have somebody that can match up with Greg Olsen, because we can talk about lack of weapons. They have a
Honey Badger.
Okay, I like Honey Badger.
Honey Badger could be maybe the defensive player of the year, and I know
I'm on board with that.
Norman,
I'm on board with Honey Badger.
Knight.
But I'm just saying, now, two things. You're going to have to cover Greg Olsen. You want to put Honey Badger there, that's fine. Number two, you're going to send everybody to Cam Newton. You better get him on the ground. Because if you send bodies at him and don't get him on the ground, there's a lot of room to run. And that is a big, fast man in the open field.
That is a big, fast man. But, okay, so Greg Olsen's the other guy. So say we put 2 on them. Remember, the Cardinals play dime defense, nickel defense more than anybody else in the league. So Deion Buchanan, Tony Jefferson, Honey Badger working to double team him. Who's going to get open against Patrick Peterson? Does Patrick Peterson need to play? Like, I don't even know if Patrick needs to play against the Carolina Panthers on the outside because I don't know who is their most dangerous threat outside. When you take away Greg Olsen, then you're saying that Ted Ginn Jr., Philly Brown, and Devin Funchess have to be able to beat us on the outside. I just don't know because all those other teams that I've listed all have dominant pieces on the outside. And I'm a guy that believes defense wins championships, but you have to be able to score. And I just don't know in a playoff environment if the Panthers can score enough.
The Panthers, this is my last point. Panthers at home against the Arizona Cardinals with their defense in that environment, they don't need to score but 17 points, Buck. 17 points, Carolina Panthers going to win that game.